Rudeka is, contrary to what the name suggests, a large city. If Rodario is to be believed, more than 70,000 people live here, a number that you find it hard to even imagine. But while you walk through the streets, you don't doubt that it's the truth. Never before have you seen such huge masses of people.
If we are looking for somewhere to quench our thirst or for a roof over our heads, then I would recommend the Golden Well Tavern. And we can find everything we need for the rest of our journey at the Big Market. Just say where you want to go, Tungdill, and I'll show you the way.
The Big Market at the city's south gate certainly lives up to its name. You have never seen a market on such a scale. Stands, large and small, as far as the eye can see. Everything you could possibly need can be found here, as well as plenty of things that seem to have no use at all. While you push your way through the crowd to get to the trader Rodario wants to introduce to you, you overhear two peasants talking about elves.
No, I tell ya, it was elves. Pale skin, pointy ears.
Yeah, something strange is going on these days. Old Trundlewood from down Acrehill way said he saw some pointy ears too. Come to think of it, where's he been all week?
Here we are.
Rodario's sudden announcement draws your attention away from the locals to the tent that you're now standing in front of.
Welcome to Brand's Potpourri. Whatever your heart may desire, I can supply.
You follow Rodario through the lively streets until he reaches a run-down two-story building. You hope that this dump isn't the tavern that Rodario recommends. You prepare yourself for the worst, but the inside of the tavern surprises you all. The walls are clad with dark, finely ornamented wood. The floor is clean, the tables are weighed down with good food, and a hot fire is burning in the fireplace. One should never judge a book by its cover. The guests look you over, full of curiosity, and many nod a greeting. The haggard woman behind the bar greets you loudly.
Rodario, you old rogue! What are you doing here? And you've got dwarves with you! I don't see one my whole life, and then several come along in the same month.
We are on an important mission, Madame Flori, and could do with a place to stay the night.
Rodario introduces you and negotiates a good price for a few beds and a night's lodgings.
Sorry for asking, but you said you'd seen some other dwarves recently.
You're thinking of Gandagar's group and wonder whether they might have reached the kingdom of the Fifthlings already.
Yes, a nice bloke from the west. Paid for his room for a month in advance and then disappeared. Travelling lights.
The landlady's expression darkens.
That was 3 weeks ago. If he doesn't come back soon, I'll have to release the room.
You give Namora a sign and sneak onto the first floor. The half-elf appears moments later. To your surprise, she has Balandis with her, who must have caught something of what was said.
I want to know who the dwarf who is sneaking around here is. Perhaps he belongs to Gandagar's group.
After apologizing to various guests for intruding, you are left with just one untried door. Namora picks the lock and you enter the room unseen. The room is bigger than all the rooms in the tavern you have seen so far, and all just for one guest. There are maps, various pieces of notepaper, and 3 notebooks on the table. The notes are partly written in Dwarvish and partly in the language of humans. The 3 of you scan through them until Balandis draws your attention to a map on which the route from the kingdom of the Firstlings to the kingdom of the Fifthlings is marked.
What would make a firstling travel to the perished land, or even to the kingdom of the Fifthlings?
You believe you've found an explanation.
Here, this letter. I have found a way, but I don't know if I will return safely with Star Slasher. That's why I leave to you, dear Barris, my notes, may you, and so on.
Star Slasher?
You have come across this name in the notes a few times already, but you just shrug your shoulders and throw the letter back onto the table in disappointment. You had hoped to have found out some news on the whereabouts of the other group.
A sword. Apparently it was given to Giselbert I and I by a caravan travelling from the other lands. It seems we're dealing with a treasure hunter.
You are woken with a jolt in the middle of the night by a blood-curdling scream. You look around in panic and see that the others have been woken too, but only Geralda has beads of sweat on her brow. She's breathing heavily. Concerned, you go over to her.
I can remember. The Alfar. They are doing experiments on the children of the Smith. We have to save them.
Alpha? Experiments? What are you talking about?
I can remember everything. Or at least some of it. I know that I was taken prisoner by the Alfar, along with other dwarfs. They experimented on us and I somehow escaped.
Where was this exactly?
They are here, nearby. It was a village, I think.
An Alfar village in Tabain? Doesn't sound very likely.
By Rakus, if the Alfar are experimenting on dwarves, we can't just ignore it. We have to free the prisoners. We can't save the world if we ignore the suffering right in front of our eyes. We will help Geralda.
Boandal and the others accept your decision. Geralda nods at you gratefully. When you reach Acrehill, there isn't a single villager in sight. An uneasy feeling creeps over you, which finally turns into certainty when you see red paintings on the walls of the houses.
Alpha.
As expected, you don't find any survivors, but there are also no undead. The perished land has not yet advanced this far. You discover some footprints on the northern edge of the village.
It was orcs. Looks as though they waited here while the point ears wreaked havoc in the village. It seems like they moved on towards the north.
The pictures, painted in blood, tell the horrifying story of how the Alfar came to the village and killed the inhabitants. You also find a few elaborately carved bones, some larger ones, like those of humans, some smaller and stronger, like those of dwarves. When you reach the other end of the village, disgust is written in the faces of your companions. None of you says a word. You gather all the bones you can find together and burn them. You wash over the paintings with water from the well. You weren't able to prevent this gruesome incident, but you don't want to leave a single trace of it behind. You walk through the villages that once blossomed, but are now deserted due to the advance of the parish land. The colour has drained away from the wood of many of the houses, just as it has from the countryside itself. A carpet of withered plants rustles and crackles under your feet. You don't know if the parish land can ever be driven away again, and even if it can, it is questionable whether people will ever live here again. You sigh, and try to drive these dark thoughts away from your mind.
Ooh, do you smell that? Come! Oik, oik!
Without even waiting for you, Boindil runs over the hill and disappears behind it. You follow him, and as you reach the brow, you see a very strange scene before you.
I told you you shouldn't touch them.
But I was hungry.
Huh? Understood.
And what now?
What do you need? Makes sense.
Yeah!
Sure. Makes sense. That was good training.
Yeah! Huzzah! Oink, oink, little piggies! Vile creature! Who's next? I need help over here! Quickly!
What is it?
And what now?
I was expecting more of a battle.
Yes, yes!
That was good training. Fought well and yet lost. What do you need?
Vile creature! They're hitting me pretty hard!
Yes?
Huh? Come here, you! They hardly put up a fight!
That was good training.
Killed!
Fought well and yet lost.
And again!
What is it?
Killed!
Good plan.
I need help over here! Quickly! Vile creature! They hardly put up a fight! Now! Killed! I'm with you!
I was expecting more of a battle.
Vile creature!
Fought well and yet lost.
And again!
Yes?
They're hitting me pretty hard!
Right away.
Yes?
They hardly put up a fight!
The chaotic battle between the orcs, the undead, and you comes to the best possible conclusion. No one else is standing but you. You decide to have a little look around. You tremble at the thought that you could end up the same way. You hope that one of your companions would have sympathy with you if you were to die in the perished land. It's a map of the surroundings. Not far from your current position is a place clearly marked with a red cross. Is it another orc camp, or even the Alfar camp? You mark the place on your own map. With the probable location of another camp up your sleeve, you continue on your way. Geralda struggles to keep pace all day, and when you see her struggling, you give the order to set up camp for the night earlier than usual.
Are you all right?
The female dwarf looks ill, and as she's aware of the fact, she doesn't even try to make excuses.
The potion! It's finished! I need more of it!
She looks at you imploringly, as if you could help her. Over the next few days, Geralda's condition grows increasingly worse. She begins to shiver, and more than once you catch her muttering to herself and glancing at Andakai surreptitiously. The Mager claims she does not know what kind of potion it is and why Geralda might need it. You believe her, but you also notice that Andakai doesn't really seem interested in finding a solution to the problem either. You reach the place that was marked on the orcs' map, and judging by the sight you are presented with, there is no doubt. This is where the Alfar did their experiments.
Dwarves!
Oh, how glad I am to finally see members of my own race again. How glad I am to see anyone at all who doesn't want to kill me.
We're here to save you. We've heard that Alfar are experimenting on dwarves. Where are the others?
I am the last one.
There's me too.
You? Ah, so you escaped. Oh, I should have known it.
You and Geralda, you know each other?
She was already here when I arrived. The Alpha did experiments on her. They fed her with a tincture from this device, and then it was as if she was a doll. She had to follow their orders. They trained her in battle, and she could do Alpha magic. I swear it. But the last time, something was different. She fought against the orders of the Alpha, beheaded one of them in the end. She set me and the other prisoners free and ran away in the chaos. The Alpha recaptured all of us, apart from her.
Where are the Alpha? Oh, forget it.
End it!
Huh?
Vile creature! Attack! Yeah! Markus!
Huh?
Who's next? Ha ha! Oink oink, little piggies!
Yes? Good plan. Sure. Pavrakas!
Vile creature!
Over there? Disappointing. As good as done.
He hasn't put up a fight!
Your death is on its way. I'm on it. Over there? Yes, yes, soon. Just a minute.
Huh? Attack! And what now? Yes, yes! Come here, you! Of course! Ha ha!
What is it?
I was hoping never to see a single Shadowmare again after Greenglade.
Good job there was two of them then! Ha!
Let's have a look around. Maybe there are more survivors, or we might find out something about the potion that Geralda needs. The danger is over, once and for all.
Now the horror finally comes to an end.
A rucksack containing everything needed for a few days in the wilderness and an exotic-looking sword. The elf has been beheaded. He is dead, and even the perished land won't be able to make him rise again.
Well, that's him. I remember now. He forced me to drink a potion. That's what gave me my powers. I killed him and ran away.
On closer inspection, you see a small rolled-up note in the elf's hand.
A recipe. If I had to guess, probably for Geralda's potion.
The containers are filled with blood, but it seems thinner and smells sweeter than it should. Presumably the Alfar have done something with it, either for their potions or to use it as paint. You have no idea what to do with the various devices and ingredients, but it should be easy for Andakai, as an experienced mager and alchemist, to brew Geralda's potion. You don't wish to spend the night amongst the dead, so you set up camp a little way off. You decipher the recipe for Geralda's potion together with Andakai and Namora.
All in all, the equipment and the process is not hard to understand, despite being a little strange. And the ingredients take some getting used to, even for me. This black water and elf blood, for example.
Is this what gives Geralda her powers?
Andakai nods.
It gives her powers and makes her dangerous. What will she do if the potion runs out and she is driven to madness by thirst? She could force me to brew more and more of the potion for her and find a way to supply the elf blood that is needed for it.
Andakai's gaze pierces you.
I can mix a poison that looks just like her potion. She trusts you, Tungdil. If you give it to her, she will drink it, and we will remove an uncontrollable danger from Girdlegard.
That would still be murder. No matter how great a danger she may present, she didn't choose her powers, and deserves to live.
Andakai shakes her head in disappointment, but to your surprise, gets to work without another word. After 2 hours, Andakai comes to you and holds out 2 phials that look exactly like Geralda's.
I stick by my opinion, Tungdil. You must recognize how great the danger is. The phial on the left is the potion. In the other is the poison.
Andakai gives you the 2 phials.
Decide wisely.
Before you can say anything, she has already turned away and is marching at a swift pace towards Jeroen.
Tungdil, is the potion ready?
You only just managed to hide the phials from Geralda.
Yes, here is the potion.
You give Geralda the real potion, and she takes several large swigs.
Thank you, Tungdil. What would I do without... Ugh. What is that? It's burning! You've poisoned me!
You stare at the second phial in your hand, and then at the face of the dwarf, contorted in pain. With a final pain-stricken scream, Geralda collapses in front of you. As the others rush over, you are still standing there, frozen in shock.
She's dead. Take her away.
Without worrying about the objections of the others, Jeroen follows her order. Andakai grabs your shoulder and pulls you aside.
So you gave her the potion? I thought you would.
You swapped them, how could you?
You feel deceived, and anger boils inside you.
Be aware of who you're talking to, Tungdil Goldhand. We may be travelling together, but I am still one of the 6. I have ruled over my realm for many years and made many difficult decisions. This was not one of them. She was a product of Alpha experiments and could have become as great a danger to Girdlegard as not on.
But perhaps we could have...
You think you can see a hint of sympathy in the Mager's face, but without another word she leaves you where you're standing. For the first time in a long while, you feel just like the stupid, naive Smith who left the cosy vaults in Yonandar so long ago. As night falls, you find yourselves on a hot mountain face covered in sharp crags. You would favour pretty much anywhere else to spend the night, but it is too dark to go any further. You are woken in the middle of the night by Boindil.
Scholar, can you smell it? There are piggies nearby.
You sniff deeply, but don't smell anything but the stench of sulphur. But you do see something moving in the shadows and are immediately wide awake.
Huh? Oink, oink, little piggies!
What do you mean? I was expecting more of a
They put up a fight!
Makes sense. For the firstlings! Right away!
Now you've got me interested.
And again. Huh?
Now! Yes?
Do you think it's smart? Just let him die over here?
Sure.
Vile creature.
Makes sense.
Kill.
What is it?
He hardly put up a fight.
Hey, how about some help? And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Yeah! What is it? Oink, oink, little piggies!
Hey, can someone help me?
Hey!
Huh?
Yeah! Yeah! Oink, oink, little piggies!
What is it?
I need help over here, quickly.
Good plan.
They're hitting me pretty hard.
What is it?
I need help over here, quickly.
Huzzah! He hardly put up a fight.
Okay, this is starting to get too much.
I'm with you. Oink, oink, little piggies!
Yes?
And again.
I'll be ready to see you.
Yes, he hardly put up a fight.
Yeah!
On my way. Understood. Kill. End it.
Yeah!
Understood.
After the battle, you finally have time to catch your breath. You check the others one by one to see how they are. Bavragor seems out of it and is staggering with every step he takes.
Bavragor, are you all right?
Agonizingly slowly, he turns to face you. Blood is flowing from his mouth and through his beard.
I made a mistake.
All strength slips from his body and he falls forward. An arrow is protruding from his back.
Andakai, Bavragor has been hit.
You immediately rush towards him. Balandis, next to you, takes his hand.
Too late. The arrow was poisoned. I could feel it. I hadn't planned to return to the kingdom of the secondlings, but I did at least want to complete my task to die in glory.
You won't die, Bavragor. Andakai, can't you?
You turn to the Maga, but one look at her face robs you of all hope. She shakes her head imperceptibly.
We are in the perished land, aren't we? Let me die. Then I can at least complete my task. My defiance will be stronger than the urge to do evil.
Before you can object, Boindil lays a hand on your shoulder.
You know yourself how stubborn we are, Scholar. We should grant him his wish. If he turns on us, then I will take care of him myself.
You've heard about dead dwarves on expeditions in the perished land defying the bloodlust for many days. But you want to find a better way. Bavragor's breathing is becoming shallower, until it finally stops completely. While Balandis is still sobbing next to you, the stonemason rises suddenly. His face is pale and his eyes seem empty.
Even death can't stop me. I told you. My defiance is stronger.
None of you really know what to say, and finally Bavragor compels you to continue your journey. You can see the inner conflict in the stonemason's face, and you don't know how long he can resist it. You continue on your way with an uneasy feeling.